one of the key features that clients expect out of an AI agent is the explainability part of it. Why an agent has taken a particular decision among the choices, right? So, how are we building this explainability into our studio?
That's very important feature which enterprises look for, the explainability. Before AI, we were doing programming as such, meaning when we are developing an application without AI, everything was clear, either black or white, right? And when AI came into existence, then the concept of explainability also kicked in, and it became important, especially for all the enterprise applications. We need to give a reasoning, and it becomes more and more sensitive when we are dealing with, say, personally identifiable information, or when we are dealing with some decisions where the impact is more emotional and impacts the end user, right? So in those cases, explainability, especially at an audit level, becomes important. In AI, explainability is a given thing. You cannot escape or you cannot ignore that while you're developing an application. Now with Gen AI, the problem has become even more severe because Gen AI, or if you take any of these large language models, GPT-3, GPT-4, they are big black boxes deciding on your behalf, right? So explaining them, because they are so abstract, we can't interpret how that decision is being taken. That's where the LLMs fail when they are applied for an enterprise application. So what we have done, as I said in the earlier conversation as well, how Graph plus LLMs are working, are helping us solve few of the problems. And
Right.
even this explainability is handled with our approach of using Graph plus LLMs. Since we are using LLMs for only the human-like experience part and using a graph for all the logical part, explainability is taken care by the graph, underlying graph.
Mhm.
The graph, for example, if you say that if the age of a person is greater than 65, then he is eligible for so and so step, or if not, then they take the different route. That's all we are composing as a graph on, or a business process, which is like gold standard for enterprise, right? They'll have to adhere to those rules. There is no discretion, or there is LLM doesn't have any, what do you call, idea of how that business process has come into existence,
Right.
because it is so much specific to the enterprise. So the explainability graph is taking care, and the fineness of conversation we are getting from the LLM. That's how we
Great.
deal with this.
Great. So it's more like a decision tree kind of map that we design, and that's what makes it deterministic, and the explainability comes into picture. Am I
Sure.
right?
I would be a little careful when I say decision tree, because the way people have seen decision trees are more like building a set of conversations, which is not in our case. We are not building all the possible conversation paths. We are not doing that. We are designing. So the when we are building a bot, all we need to give is various business processes,
Hmm.
various nuances of business processes. So you don't say in a conversation flow, you'll have to tell that if the user says yes, then do this. If the user says no, do this. If the user says something else, do that. That we are not doing. That's typically how decision trees were applied in the earlier generation of conversational assistants. But in our case, we are really focused on business users, business processes, which is specific to an enterprise.
Great. Thanks for that clarification, JP.